All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stories from a Mountain Town. Your loyal host here today, Tyler Meany, coming to you from our new podcast studio in my new home in Wilson, Wyoming, right next to Jackson. Call it the suburbs of Jackson. Today with me, I have Steve Neutzling. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. So Steve is my girlfriend Taylor's sister's boyfriend. So kind of that brother-in-law role. Him and Allie are out here staying with us for a little while to kind of get away from the bigger city and have a little fun while they can, and we're trying to be as safe as we can. So welcome to Jackson and Wilson, and welcome back to the mountains.
Yeah, happy to be here. Allie and I made kind of a spur-of-the-moment decision to come out here. We Saturday morning, she texted me. She's like, "We should go visit Taylor and Tyler."
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, well, let's go for it." And Sunday morning, 5 a.m., we packed it up and arrived on your doorstep at about 9:15.
Yeah, the girls had been like chatting about it, like when you could do it or whatever, and then like you and I were gaming, and you're like, "Yeah, did you hear we're like gonna come tomorrow?" I was like, I didn't know it was that far advanced of a plan. I was like, but fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, both of her and I are working from home right now. So, I mean, really it gives us the opportunity to work from anywhere, really, which is nice.
Definitely.
And obviously still being socially distant, being safe about it, which is good. But yeah, we figured it was a good opportunity to do and couldn't pass it up. And so here we are.
For sure. Yeah. Do you work from home very often outside of pandemic?
So busy season. So for those of you listening, I'm an accountant in public accounting. Busy season, never working from home, either at the clients or at the office for 3.5 months straight, pretty much. But outside of that, it's kind of up to us. A lot of people are still going into the office, like even in the summers and stuff. But if you have anything going on at home or whatever, the option is definitely there for you to work from home. So that option is nice. I would say, I don't work from home too much, just because if I do have a lot of stuff to do, I'll go into the office just to get away from some distractions and whatever, and go in and get that stuff done. But if there's a Friday where you got a little bit less going on, maybe only a couple meetings or whatever, might work from home and get some stuff done around the house too. So
yeah, it's something I've noticed. A ton of people that know that I've worked from home for like 3 years completely. Since they've been working from home during this, they tell me like, dude, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you stay focused? And at the end of the day, it comes down to I'm in sales, so I don't make any money. Well, I have a salary, but I don't make as much money as I need.
Right.
Like, unless I'm actually doing work.
Yeah. No, I've always thought that too. I have one of my roommates he lives like right below me in the duplex, and he works exclusively from home. And I was like, how do you do that all the time? And for you, I obviously like you said, you work for your money basically. Like if you're not doing work, you're not making sales, you're not getting paid as much. So I could see where that could be a little bit better to be, all remote when you're got the sales to kind of be your incentive, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if I could do it. There's days where I think like, oh, working from home would be awesome all the time, and then there's other days where I'm like, I gotta go interact with people. I'm very much so a people person. So
yeah, we talked about that today, how I'll just like run random errands during the middle of the day so I get some public interaction. Because if I'm working from home, 8 to 4 in my office, you're in the house, maybe saying hey to the neighbors or something, and then I go on a ski tour, mountain bike ride, or a hike, and I don't really see a lot of people there. And then it's come home and it's Taylor and we have dinner, or if she's working, then she's already gone. And then the only people I've seen all day are Taylor briefly and hung out with the dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, I'm losing my social skills some days.
Definitely pays to get some human interaction.
Yeah, because then the people I'm talking to on the phone are like, clients or coworkers, and that's like not a fully real conversation usually. But I think the level of respect for working from home has gone up.
Oh yeah,
in the public, because people are like, oh shit, like it takes real like self-restraint to get shit done.
For sure.
While you could also just be sitting on your couch watching Netflix.
Yeah, I told this to my mom a couple weeks ago. I was like, this pandemic, as crappy as it is, it hit me in a perfect time in life, because it's like I don't have kids, like I don't have any like responsibilities outside of work and myself, really.
Yeah.
So like I know we have a bunch of clients who they've been kind of slow getting us information, just because it's like, well, we have 3 kids at home, so now all of a sudden I'm a CFO of a company and I'm also a full-time teacher. Like I'm trying to homeschool 3 kids. So one of my old baseball coaches, his mom was a teacher back in the day, and she's been retired for years, and they actually like hired her out of retirement basically to come teach their 3 kids during this. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty genius idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm facing the same thing with clients. Like when you're in sales, they take every excuse they can to not buy stuff. And so this is just like that extra excuse that's kind of valid. Like, like you still need this integration to happen in 3 months. So you need to sign this now. But they're like, well, with everything going on the way it is. And it's like, no, like that doesn't change what you need done in 3 months.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, I totally get it where our clients are. It's obviously way different just for everybody. And like I said, I mean, I'm just glad I don't have kids running around at home that I would have to take care of while trying to get work done. So, yeah.
And I've felt so blessed that, like all 4 of us, now that I think about it, haven't had any stoppage of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are you salaried?
Yeah.
Yeah. Allie's salaried, right?
Yep.
And, Taylor's not salaried, but she's works at a hospital. So like, she's had as much work as ever. People still have babies no matter what the pandemic status is.
Right.
And I've actually had a really good quarter. So like, so many people that I know, more than just like bar and restaurant employees, have been furloughed. Like, like, one of my high school buddies, he like works for like a staffing agency, and like he's in like a management of a business development team. So like, a real job, like, not hourly, not in a bar, not in something that's like small. It's like a real job, and he's furloughed.
Yeah. No, I think, I mean, obviously I've been fortunate, and pretty much most people that I've closely related to or closely in contact with have been lucky in this too, where no really furloughs or layoffs. But I know there are a lot of people out there where it sucks right now, but I don't know. It's a weird time. And it
scares the shit out of me, because I am multimedia marketing. Like, there's been a lot of days where I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to that all in, and I'll just figure it out. Yeah. Like, if I had done that in the last year, we'd be screwed. Yeah, exactly. Like if we had gotten some weird idea to get an employee, like, because most of our
hire me.
Yeah, most of our clients are like, you're not doing a lot. Like the golf course isn't even open yet because of this, so they're not paying us anything, and whatever. So like, it's almost just like, holy shit, we just dodged a huge bullet, because I really think this will be our generation's like kind of one big issue like this. Maybe we'll have one more like recession later in our lives, but usually generationally you get like 1 or 2.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's something that, like, I mean, the world has never seen something really like this before. I mean, there's been other pandemics in the past and stuff, but I mean, this is probably the only time anybody that'll live through this will see something like this. Like, very unlikely that something like this will ever occur in any of our lifetimes.
Unless China tries to kill us again.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. But for sure, I don't think we've seen this widespread of, like stay-at-home stuff and closures of businesses. The other pandemics, like the swine flu, there was almost no closures of businesses. Like MERS and SARS had it was actually like a similar type of disease, but it wasn't, nothing really got shut down here. But like, we're seeing like, almost every country in the world has some sort of like stay-at-home or like shelter-in-place or businesses closing down.
Yeah, because when was swine flu? We were in like
10th grade. I was in 10th grade.
I was just gonna say, I was either like late junior high or maybe early high school. But yeah, I remember that, and like, obviously there was a lot of people like worried about it and everything, but nowhere near what it is now. Yeah, like with
there was no like government.
No, nothing even close. Yeah. Like, no schools were shut down, no work was stopped, nothing. It was just like, wash your hands, and if you're sick, stay home. Now it's like, well, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, but nobody can do anything.
But here I am, so.
And I wonder if that's almost a little bit like, I'm not blaming Obama for his action on that, but I wonder if that's like the administration's almost like view on action like that.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know much.
Well, maybe
about,
not because it's the same doctor, isn't it? That Fauci.
Yeah, Fauci is
Fauci?
he's been the guy for
So maybe
for
not.
several
Maybe
years,
it was just like less harmful.
Yeah, I don't know. And to be honest, I'm not super knowledgeable on the old swine flu at all, but
yeah, but now everyone's an expert on viruses now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because everyone's reading everything on Instagram, and half of it's bullshit.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're an expert at least.
They're like, well, no, this is actually coronavirus is actually a category of viruses. It's like, okay,
all of a sudden everybody becomes an infectious disease specialist.
Yeah, and they're like, well, actually, it actually only lives on surfaces for 18 hours. Like, all right, Gary.
Yeah, keyboard warriors out there.
Yeah, yeah. Or I love this, and they do this in politics too. I don't normally post things like this.
Yes.
When every single one of their posts is just that.
Yep, exactly.
Like, I hate posting stuff about the pandemic. 5th post this week about it. Like, no, you do like posting about it.
Posting it, yeah. Every time they say something like that, it's a regular occurrence.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you're out here in, we'll move away from the pandemic because I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about that. So you're out here in Jackson. This is your second time here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take it back to our first time here. Us four came out here 2 summers ago in like late July. Again, we drove out with the dogs. We loaded up Taylor's Nissan Rogue. We were the Griswolds for sure.
Oh yeah.
Remember the setup we had on the roof? So we borrowed like a roof rack box thing for our backpacks and our luggage, and then we had to bring the dogs' kennels.
Oh, that's right.
So we ratchet strapped the dogs' kennels to the rack next to the box.
Yep.
And that was total Griswold status.
Oh yeah.
And then we had 2 people in the front seats, 2 people in the back seats, 2 dogs in the trunk, and then a Yeti cooler in there. And we moved it around from like being in the trunk to being in between people to like on laps and shit. Like
about halfway through the trip, Allie and I were sitting in the back, and we're like, "All right, this is enough," because the cooler was in the middle seat, in between the 2 people sitting in the back, and the dogs are in the trunk, just sprawled out, having as much room as possible. And we're like, "All right, we're gonna change this around." And Tyler's like, "Oh no, the dogs need their room." And
they do need their room.
I agree, but eventually we were like, "All right, cooler's going in the back. Dogs get a little less room. Humans get a little more room." So
yeah. We made that in. We must have left later. Did Taylor like work and then we left or something?
I think we left after Taylor had a night shift or something. So I think we left at I want to say 9 in the morning or so.
Yeah, we got here really late. I remember that. I drove.
It was a totally different drive.
It was a death march.
Yeah,
I drove the last bit.
I know. I was awake in the front seat with you, and I was struggling even sitting there to try and stay awake. And
it's those little Stoke.
Those
coffee cup things.
Yeah.
There's audience. There's these little. It's STOK. They're little they look like little creamers, but they're basically like mini espresso shots with the caffeine of 3 cups of coffee,
something like that. Yeah.
And you'll just find them in some random gas stations. Will have them in the creamer section, but they're just full on just boosts of coffee.
They're
so you either
key for a long road trip.
Yeah, you either just shoot them or I put them in coffee before. And I wouldn't have gotten through that drive without those.
No, yeah, that was definitely a caffeine-aided drive. That's for sure. Because I think, what did it take us? I think it was 19-ish hours.
Yeah, that's usually.
We had
in the summer
a few more stops, obviously, with the dogs, just to let them out a little bit more and whatever. But yeah, totally different drive this time. Because the biggest thing that I had compare the 2 drives is when we came the 2 summers ago. We arrived in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, somewhere along that line. Whereas this time, Allie and I arrived, we got here at we covered Togety Pass at probably 8-ish, I think, 8 p.m.
Get a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we covered Togety Pass at about 8 p.m. and then we were actually able to see the mountains. So when we came the first time, you couldn't see barely anything. I mean, you could see obviously the huge structures in the distance, but it was really didn't give the same effect. And this time I just remember how beautiful it was coming over the Togety Pass and just seeing the Grand for the first time. Coming in. I mean, I had seen it the couple summers ago, obviously, but seeing it in the daylight, when you can actually that experience of you've driven this whole way and all of a sudden, boom, there it is.
Yeah, when you're up on the pass right by the lodge.
Yep.
Have you heard my my story in recent podcasts of when we moved here and I hit that spot.
And you got like the little sense of doubt or whatever, and then
I had hit doubt right before that. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Moving across the country, moving Taylor across the country for me wanting to be in the mountains, and then I hit that and I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, I remember listening to that story. That was pretty sweet, and I could totally see where that would just be such a calming moment, really. Because even just coming here to visit, just seeing the sheer size and beauty of it is just mind blowing to me. It's like it's so amazing, and knowing that you call it your full-time home is pretty cool. So
yeah, I there's like every couple weeks, every couple months when like cool stuff happens, it kind of like resonates again and again. But then like we'll do stuff like what we just did today. We went on a hike. If you follow me on Instagram, we hiked in the same spot I just posted that drone video of. And then we brought some like a charcuterie board set up and like some beers and some Trulies and then drove down after the hike and sat right in front of the Grand and had some snacks and hung out in the back of the truck. You do stuff like that, and I was just sitting there staring around because it's like this is like an everyday. This could be like an almost everyday thing,
right? Exactly.
And you know, people. This is their 1 week. People come here just for like 1 week of that.
Yep.
And that's like their only vacation. Like they spend their hard-earned money just to do that once or like a couple times in a week in their trip. And it's just like it continues to blow my mind even though I've lived here for like a year and a couple months.
Oh yeah, I believe it. And I mean, obviously this only being my second time here, but it's amazing. Like there's truly nothing like I've seen anything like this before, not even close. So yeah, it's amazing. Just that site, just coming over that pass was truly something special. And then every hike that we've gone on, you get some sort of like it's generally the same view, but at the same time, it's totally different because, you're at a different angle, different elevation, different whatever. But in the end, you can still see that big ass mountain just staring you right in the face. And it's like, holy crap, that thing is amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point with the different angles. Like, we saw it from straight on today, like on the top of the butte, it was a slightly different angle. And then if you go up north, like where you saw it at Togety, it looks totally different. But you can still sense the shape of like that big ass triangle and the top of the Grand, the way it looks on your hat. Like Steve's wearing a Teton Gravity Research hat with the Grand on it, and like that shape is just like ingrained in every angle you see it in.
Yeah, it's cool to go up those hikes, and you always see it kind of as you're hiking, obviously, just because it's always there. But then when you get to the top and you see it from, I mean, what's today? Thursday. We've gone on 3-4 different hikes already this week, and all different angles the whole time, and it's been pretty special.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the weather's been good. We still have a little bit of that moisture. Like the mornings, you've noticed it's like kind of cloudy and a little bit colder, but then the sun gets up and it dries everything out.
Yep.
And so we're moving into our summer pattern where it'll just be like last year from like July 1st through the end of August, there was not a cloud anywhere. It was like 80 and sunny every single day. Like that's it didn't awesome. Change.
Yeah.
Like that's what summers are here.
Yeah. The weather is actually part of the reason Allie and I decided so quickly to come out here. She was like looking at the weather, and a couple of the weeks we had been talking about it and tossing around some ideas, and the weather wasn't great. And I mean, you guys coming right out of winter where still probably a ton of snow. And I mean, there is still a little bit of snow here in some of the shaded and elevated areas, but we saw this week and we're like, oh, it's going to be like 60s kind of the whole week. That seems pretty perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. Where should we go next? What do you want to talk about? Oh, what else did we do? Let's talk about what else we did on that trip. So we we stayed in a house in Victor, right at the base of the pass. Super cool little house. And we did stuff in the village, right? We like went up the tram.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts like of the accessibility of having that tram right there? It's a 10-minute ride to go up 4,000 vertical feet to 10,450 feet of elevation. Like what was when you stepped out of the tram, what did that feel like for you?
You feel like you're on top of the world, really.
Yeah.
It's like you get up there and as you're riding it up, it doesn't really feel like it feels like you're getting high, but not not really as high as you think you are, or as you like feel you are, I guess. I don't know, kind of hard to explain, but like right as you get out and you just like look, you like turn around and you walk off the little tram and the little tracks they have or whatever, and you like up on the mountain, you just look and it just never stops. Like the sights just never stop.
Yeah.
You literally feel like you're on top of the world. Yeah. And you can see for miles and miles and miles. And it's just such a cool like initial sight, because you're like, oh, 10 minutes ago I was down there where you can't even see the, like, people look like ants down there. You can't even see them. They're so small. Yeah. And now all of a sudden 10 minutes later you're on top of the world and can see for hundreds of miles or however the heck far it is. But
I don't think hundreds, because the valley, well,
I don't know.
So
however far your eye can see, you can see.
Across the valley, you could probably see maybe probably 50, just because there's other mountains around that would block it out. Yeah. But yeah, that I think that idea, I've talked about this before, the idea of like how easy it is to go up to that, like people like forget or they don't understand what they go up to. Mm-hmm. So like you'll see people in the winter, like it's a powder day, and a powder day on the most of the mountain is like, you know, nice snow dumping. It's not like too harsh, but when you're on the top of the tram, it's like 40-mile-per-hour winds. You feel like you're in a snow globe. You get vertigo. It's like the wind will blow you over. Mm-hmm. It'll blow you backwards if you're like gliding down on your skis. And people go up there in like fucking jeans, and like
it's clearly not knowing
like
what they're getting
something
into.
That we're wearing right now. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you think you're going up to?
Yeah.
Or like in the summer, I see people go up and they're like, in like freaking girls in high heels and like guys in like a suit. I'm like, dude, this is 10,450 feet above sea level. Yeah. Like, the trees don't grow above like 10,200. Yeah. That's called the tree line. Like, and you think you could go up there in heels?
No, yeah, I know. I remember like when we were going up there, it was because we were in the middle of summer and it was probably 70, 75 degrees out. It's like hot. We're in shorts and t-shirts or whatever. And you're like, hey, you guys might want to bring a sweatshirt. And I was like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. We're in the middle of summer. Like it's 75 degrees. Because I had never I think 2 summers ago was probably my first trip to really like any like mountain towns, I guess, really.
You drove through them probably when you went to Florida for baseball.
Yeah, yep. I guess
Smoky Mountains.
We've driven through stuff like that, but never really had like experienced it. I guess my family vacations had always been to more like bigger cities or whatever. So I guess I didn't really know what to expect, and you're like, yeah, bring a sweatshirt. And I was like, this guy's crazy. But yeah, when we got up there, like it was like chilly. I mean, obviously you're way up there and it's windy as crap, and but yeah, it is. Yeah, you're totally right there. I'm sure I can't imagine how many people go up there not knowing what the heck they're getting themselves into. Luckily, I had you who had been up there a million times to kind of guide me through it. But
yeah, and the resort tries their best to warn people. There is that warning I probably showed you when we were doing that. It like says like, this is not like other mountains. This is different. You need to like be an expert skier, or you like need to know the terrain you're going into, because you know, just because it's a cushy 10-minute ride up to something does not take away the gnarliness you're on the edge of. Like, bears don't get up to that elevation, but there's like real wild. You can see bears on the way up. You'll see moose. Like you can't, if you look off the back of the resort, you can't. There's nothing human back there. Right. And that, I just think people need more of a reminder of that.
No, I think like a lot of people that don't kind of understand like the outdoors don't really get it. It's like they see pictures of these things and like I can't imagine how many people get like way too close to wildlife when they're here.
Like everyone.
Yeah, like people that clearly know, like, I mean, obviously they're here to see the beautiful sights and everything. I get that totally, but like you should have a little bit more like understanding of what you're getting into, because it's like these are wild animals that will kill you if they want. Like if they feel threatened and they attack you, you're gonna lose. You're not gonna beat a fight with like an elk or a bear or anything, buffalo, a buffalo, whatever.
And every year, people, like a kid gets killed because their parent put them on a buffalo or took a picture with them next to a buffalo.
Yeah, it's like people like turn your brain on a little bit. You got to understand that these aren't like, I don't know. It just,
it's not like they're not like domesticated animals.
Right.
They're wild, but we just like put roads and lodges around them and bathrooms near them and gift shops. but they don't give a fuck about the gift shops.
No.
Like they've always their herds have always gone to that area
Yep.
for certain seasons, and they're gonna walk through it because it's safer from predators, and there's food there for them and water. And yeah, I almost think like Yellowstone's, the vast majority of it is really rugged and raw.
Mm-hmm.
But where the people go, like Old Faithful area, the Common Lodge areas, the gift shop areas, the road areas, I almost like, you want to support the people going there, that they can have amenities and stuff. But again, the same thing, like the amenities put there makes people think that you're in some sort of bubble or you're in some sort of sanctuary where like the animals aren't wild, but no, those animals are wild as fuck.
Yeah, it's almost like people think it's like a zoo.
Yeah, it's like a zoo.
It's like, I can get as close to these people or these animals as I want because there's a little glass in between them. But
yeah,
out here
they can go buy a T-shirt right there.
Yeah, there's no glass here. They don't care who you are or what you're doing. If you're in the way or if you're threatening them, well, look out because they're gonna come after you. So.
And it's not like the animals that we're talking about are like squirrels or birds or even like regular deer.
Right.
We're talking about elk. Well, I'm going to look up how big like the average size of an elk is. So just so I get this right. Average weight of elk in Yellowstone. So that's adult males or bulls range upwards of 700 pounds, while females or cows average 500 to 525.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, so that's elk. That's one of the more popular animals around here. And then...
what's a buffalo? They're a couple thousand, aren't they?
Yeah. And then a bison male, 2,000.
Yeah.
And a female, 1,000. So, and then let me just see one thing here. Weight of Ram 1500. Okay, Ram 1500, 4,798 pounds. So a male bison is half the weight of my truck. And you're
people
trying
are trying to touch
put
them
your
to take
kids
a
on
picture.
it. Yeah. So it's not like the insanity just continues when you realize what the animals that they're talking about, that we're talking about actually are. It's not like coyotes or deer or foxes or like little shit. The biggest creatures in America are the ones we're talking about. Or bears, freaking grizzly bears.
Yeah. So really, take this as a public service announcement for any of you who haven't been to Jackson and are coming to Jackson.
Yeah, keep your fucking distance.
From, you can go and take pictures of them and everything, but keep your distance.
Yeah,
Social
longer.
And then on top of that, the water is ice cold. Like we're talking, obviously, it's coming straight off the mountains, so it's freezing, and like it's cold to the point of, if you've ever jumped in like cold water and it takes your breath away, like that cold. So like I get to the top and Allie and I are like both trying to like tell each other or ask like if you hit the ground, but like words were not coming out of my mouth. I couldn't speak. Like I was like, it just was
no air in your lungs.
Yeah, literally no air in my lungs. And so I like start swimming kind of towards the side. And Allie, I think, is still a little bit like shocked of what's going on, like kind of trying to process A, how cold it is, B, my feet just hit the ground, like whatever, and also just trying to like kind of regather, I guess. And I get to a point where I can finally like touch. So I can like touch kind of on my tippy toes or whatever, and starts getting gradually shallower. And so I like start getting out of the water, and Allie's still kind of in the middle of the river, and I'd like swam kind of to the side, and Allie's still kind of in the middle of the river, and I'm like kind of turn around, like look at her, and she's kind of leisurely
she's like chatting back to us
at
the top.
Like leisurely swimming back to the side, kind of. She had finally gotten like her grips about her and swimming to the side or whatever, and all of a sudden like I look back at her and she's like not kind of coming towards me, and she's starting to swim a little bit harder and not really moving at all, and probably I would say like at this point she's probably 15 feet away, 20 feet away from some decent rapids. Like nothing like, it's not like a crazy like waterfall or anything, but like some moving rapids and some pretty sharp rocks.
Some white water. Yeah. It wasn't like really deep there, but it's just like rocky.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so
and fast.
I'm like standing now, I'm probably maybe a little less than waist deep in the water, like standing up, and she's still in the middle of the river, and she looks at me, and this is a look that
the fear of God
never want to see ever again in my life. This is like, holy shit, get me out of here. I'm in trouble.
I'm gonna die.
And I was like, uh-oh. So I like kind of start like running back into the river, like, and keep in mind it's ice cold.
Yeah.
So like going back into this river is not like an enjoyable experience. It's cold as shit. And I'm like running back, and so she grabs like a big rock. She like is like bear hugging a rock and like holding on for dear life. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Like a movie.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
Like you see it in a movie.
Literally. So I like kind of like grab her by the waist, and she's like fully, like not fully submerged. She's got like her head and like shoulders above water, but like holding on to this rock. And I'm like, you need to get your chest out of the water so you can breathe, because like obviously kind of freaking out here at this point a little bit.
Yeah.
And like breath is not there because it's cold. You're freaking out. And so like she was like barely trying. She was like trying to talk to me, and she like couldn't. And I was like, all right, you need to get your chest out of the water, like get your lungs out of the water so you can like breathe. And like I like was kind of like trying to fight this current while like wedging my foot in the ground and like picking her up, and she's trying to hold me up. And eventually she like gets her like chest out of the water, and I was like, okay, just relax. Like we were fine. Like we weren't gonna go anywhere at that point.
Yeah.
But and then eventually, you know, we get out of water or whatever. We kind of go rock to rock, really, because like at that point the current was like kind of, you could feel it pulling. Like if we would have let go completely of the rocks, like it would have pulled us.
Yeah.
So we like kind of grabbed on rock to rock, and you know, kind of anchored each other and kind of pulled each other over to the side to the point where we could get out of the water and eventually, you know, walk to the side and get to safety. But that was a very, very scary experience for me, because I was like, I jumped, like I was in shock, and then I got out of the water, and I was like, oh, that was awesome, like that was super fun. And then I'm like swimming to the side, and all of a sudden I turn around, and you got your girlfriend looking at you like she's about to die.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy. So that was quite the experience.
A detail you didn't mention there. One of the like 3 things I said about the jump was start swimming to the side right away.
See, I don't know if they did say that.
They told us that.
So I don't know if they actually no, they said that afterwards, because we came up.
I knew that when you guys jumped.
Okay.
Because I remember being like,
maybe
when Allie was drifting, I was yelling at her like, Allie, start swimming.
Okay, maybe
I could see like you going over there, and then she wasn't going over there, and I just know like the power of that. I've been in the snake before, and I was like, I for sure knew that, whether it was just me or they told us.
Maybe I wasn't remembering it right, but I don't know. I don't recall ever hearing that part about it from the locals, to be like, yeah, once you get your head above water, start swimming immediately to the side. Otherwise, you're gonna get swept away in the rapids. But yeah. I do remember when we came up, like after this had happened, because you guys hadn't jumped yet. We had like got out of the water and came back up, and then you guys were about to jump and whatever. And I remember like saying like that water was pretty strong, and I feel like the locals were like, yeah, by the way, you're supposed to swim to the side right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was a pretty minor detail that we could have used.
Yeah, for sure. And
Either way, it was, yeah, that was fun, but quite scary at one point.
Yeah, and then so then Tay and I jump, and my feet touch. I don't think Tay's did, but my first thought was get Taylor to the edge.
Yeah.
Like I was able to swim in it just fine, and I was just like, get Taylor out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Taylor, stop enjoying it, to the bank. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I think that's part of what caught Allie, is like she like got in a little bit of shock, and then like realized like, oh, that was awesome. And it was kind of just like you said, enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, snap your fingers, and she's 15 feet away from the Rockies or the rocks.
It's not a lake. It's not a lake at all.
No. Did I say lake?
No. I was saying that like you jump into Prairie Lake and you just sit there.
Oh, right. No, yeah, it's a river. It's moving. It's got some good pace to it. That's for sure.
For sure. Did we do anything else?
Let's see here. Oh, we went whitewater rafting. That was pretty fun.
Because
my family. Awesome.
Yeah, because my family was here. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so my most of my family was here staying at the Teton Club, because that was like it was late July, right?
Yeah,
so they were
second to last week of July.
Yeah, so they're just out. So one of the days we all went whitewater rafting. and we had enough people that we all had just one boat, right? And there was like
Yeah, we had one boat, and then we had another
couple
family
other,
of 3 or 4, I think, that was with us.
And that was awesome. So we were all on one boat, ripping rapids, and
what was it when they called on the front? Was that like Ride the Bull or something?
Ride the Bull, yeah. Did you rode the bull, right?
I did. I think I was riding the bull for some of the smaller rapids that we went over.
They do a thing where you can sit on the front, and there's like a handle on the front of the boat to hold on to, so you're not like in the boat really. You're right in the front of it.
You like hang your feet out the front too, so like you're totally like outside the boat really.
Yeah, the idea of it is worse than the actual concept because once the rapid hits you, you fall back into the boat.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's obviously safe. Otherwise, they wouldn't let you do it. But
yeah, I think I've gone whitewater rafting like 3 times, and I've ridden the bull every time, and I've never fallen out.
No,
only fallen back.
Yeah,
into
right.
the boat.
Exactly, because obviously you hit the rapid and the wave hits you right in the face, and you fall backwards. That was awesome.
The tourists who like haven't ever done it, they're like, "Oh my god, you're crazy! You're crazy! You're sitting on the front of the boat. Oh my gosh, look at this daredevil!"
One of my favorite parts actually about that was when you get to like some of the not calmer spots, but the slower spots of the river where they just let you like jump out and just like float in the river.
Yeah,
like right next to the boat. I thought that was pretty sweet. I mean, obviously the whole whitewater rafting, like that experience is awesome and definitely suggest to anybody who hasn't been. But I remember like when we get into the middle or not the middle, the like kind of the down parts of the river, the slower parts where they're like, yeah, you guys can jump out and swim around or whatever. And that part was fun where you just like get to jump off and just float down the river really.
Yeah, because you got a life jacket on, you're just chilling.
Yeah, that was super fun. But yeah, I think those were like the main highlights is the big long hike, the cliff jump, and then the rafting.
Yeah, and the village stuff. We like went to the all the restaurants. Did we go into the park at all?
No, we tried. I think we were gonna do a hike in the park to one of the lakes. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh yeah, but then we realized that
couldn't have the dogs. Yeah.
I think that was mostly it.
Yeah, and then a couple nights we just like grilled out at the house in Idaho, in Victor, that Airbnb we stayed at.
Oh yeah, those nights where, we would take those little strolls just in the neighborhood, and we'd just like sit on that deck.
Yeah.
Those were some of the nights where I went from like, it's kind of a pipe dream to live in this area to like, no, I need to.
Yeah.
Because the sunset's over there, and it's just like everything's chill, and you can just like, the dogs are around, you're just hanging out in the nature and all that stuff. It was just like it kind of set it to a new level that gave me a glimpse of like what real life could be like in the area, where I didn't get that. You don't get that staying at a hotel or staying in the village or something like that.
I agree totally. There's definitely a couple nights there it like felt like a normal day, I guess, where it's like, oh yeah, we just got home and we're making dinner, grilling out, whatever, sitting on the deck. And yeah, I could like you said, that feeling that you got, I can imagine that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, like the days we had there, we would have, went on a hike, did an activity. You come home and make dinner, have some drinks on the patio, play cribbage on the patio, make a bonfire. We did all that.
Yep.
And that's I have Saturdays like that, Sundays like that now.
Right.
So that was like a little glimpse into like what real life could be like living here.
For sure. Yeah.
And that really changed things for me. Or that was one of the many things that changed things for me.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're at an hour and almost 7 minutes.
Wow, goes quick.
Yeah, it does. We have pizza ready for us. Should we shut it down?
I've only gotten like 6 texts from Allie to come eat the pizza.
Okay.
She just actually sent one that said it's all gone, so I don't know.
Lies.
I think it's a lie as well.
I'll go get us some calico. Okay. Anything else for the audience, Steven?
I don't know. I guess if you're listening, you haven't been to Jackson, take a trip.
Don't come here. Go to Colorado.
Wait, that's what I meant.
The mountains are too big for you.
Stay far away from the animals.
Yeah, stay far away from the animals. You post some good stories. You don't post a lot of like real pictures on
my Instagram. Not really, no.
But you do stories when you're doing stuff. So tell the folks your Instagram.
I might have to look that up.
Neutzling 12.
No, it's something weird. I don't know what it is even. It's Steve Newt 2. STEVENEUT 1. NEUT 2.
Yeah. I told him yesterday I had 2 contacts in my phone of him, both Steve trying to be Neutzling. One was N. What was it? Neutz SLING.
Yeah.
One was NUET
ZLING.
Neither were correct.
You were close.
Neither
Close
were
on
correct.
both, but neither
the
correct.
right phone number, but neither the same name, the right name.
Yeah.
So I finally got that corrected.
No, yeah. I'm not super active like posting wise on Instagram. If you wanna see me on Instagram, follow Balla Weiss and look for her # Stephen Eatings.
Yeah, Stephen Eatings.
Heard that's
She's always posting stories of you just eating. You guys are kind of foodies, so you're always trying out new spots.
Yep, yeah, and she always catches me at my greatest moments of indulging in my food and
cheeks full.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of barbecue or something.
Yeah, no, she's never made me look skinny on that. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah. Have you been on Al's podcast?
I have twice actually, recurring guest.
Yeah. So spot like that. What's the show called again?
Whose pick is it anyway?
Whose pick is it anyways? Friends of the podcast. My best friend Alex Marolt and Drew Colvard. They do. How would you describe that? Like they do like fantasy drafts.
Yeah, it's like a fantasy draft of like very obscure like ideas.
Yeah, like I had Alex on here and we did what. Pick 3 musicians, dead or alive, you'd want to climb the ground with. So it's like that. It's like pick 3 blank you'd want to do blank with.
Yeah, and they try and make it obscure. So like, you know, the one I was on was pick your presidents that you would go on a guy's weekend with, and like they just do like random stuff like that, and just come up with.
What was that? The top picks were JFK.
No, top pick was Bill Clinton, most unanimous #1 pick of all time.
Okay, and then so him JFK. Probably was up there because he's known.
Yeah,
he'll bring the Stogies.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. We all like looked up random obscure president facts. So like, yeah, absolutely. We had to come up with something we kind of they try and come up with some bullshit reason as to why this person would be good for this role or whatever, and it's kind of it's fun. I like it.
Do they like look it up now? Because I listened to like one of their first couple episodes, and it was the one where there was like NFL player for a baseball roster.
For a baseball team, yeah.
And their reasonings for these things were just like the stupidest shit ever,
no,
and they knew it.
Yeah,
because Al told me like, God, that was dumb, and I'm like, yeah, like think about it.
Mm-hmm.
What your reasoning? You can't just be like, oh, I pick William Taft to go on a guy's weekend because his name's William.
Yeah, no, I think they do a little bit more pre-research here just so they can come up with a little better reasoning and not just fire from the hip completely. But it does get a little bit. You can come up with some pretty creative stuff as to why somebody is a good fit for something, just by making it up.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So you can find Steven on either of those episodes of that, and go check out that podcast just in general if you like that sort of thing, just kind of figurative situations like that, that sort of shit. But yeah, we'll call that an episode. Steve, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the pod, and more so, thanks for letting me invade your home for a week.
Yeah, for sure. We've been us have been working from home. We've been coexisting pretty well with like meetings and stuff. I mean, I have my office, so I don't have any issues. But you guys are working on our breakfast bar in our kitchen.
Yeah, it works.
I would not be able to work across the table from my girlfriend like that. So kudos to you.
I just popped my AirPods in though. Don't worry.
Yeah, but even that, like I'm sure. I mean, you guys have dated for a while, but like I'm sure like some of her actions like would bother you. But yeah, so yeah, kudos to you for doing that because it's not easy to work across that close to somebody like that all the time.
Yeah, we make it work.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Stay active. Wash your hands. Stay healthy. And I've been saying lately, find a good book. I've been reading a ton. This is one of the last few episodes we haven't done any like book recommendations.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I could provide much to that because I don't read a whole ton.
Did you have to?
I know. I would like to get into it. I just haven't like. It's one of those things that you just kind of got to do, and start doing and get into. I just haven't done it. I don't know.
Well, it's hard if you don't. Like if your idea of reading is like, I'll just say like fucking Harry Potter books, like, but if you don't like fiction or like fantasy books, like you're not gonna want to find new books.
Right.
But if you just find like, I just read The Mountains of the Mind, and I've said it multiple episodes, like I'm obsessed with that book. So like that gives me the drive to like get back into it. You just got to find like there's so many books, fiction.
I want to read. I want to read the Tiger Woods book. I think that's the first one that I
like
read
that.
And I get back
that
into.
starts the momentum where you're like, oh, you know, and you're reading it. And you're like, I like reading. I'm back into that pattern. And then you see a book somewhere, or you hear someone's coming out with a book, and you're like, oh, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
Like I just got a book. You came with me. I just got a book called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. If any of you are Joe Rogan listeners, he's talked about it multiple times. It draws a connection between the usage of magic mushrooms, a certain magic mushroom, hallucinogenic mushroom, and a lot of the traditions we have in Christianity and Judaism also, like Old Testament and New Testament stuff. And I grew up Catholic, like went to private Catholic school K through 8, and then private Catholic college. So pretty religious family. So I know a lot about Christianity. We studied Judaism in like middle school, so I know plenty about that. And it's kind of an interesting like historical aspect if you just look at it. If you look at the Bible as like a historical book, if you separate like the spirituality out of it a little bit, it's still pretty fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then it like takes this guy, the author. He was one of like the historians on the Dead Sea Scrolls project, which to my knowledge is like, it had stories of Jesus that they could carbon date the scrolls on to figure out that Jesus was for sure alive around the time we think he was. There was a human named Jesus who went around Israel, told stories, did shit, preached, did stuff like that. You know, we can confirm a whole ton about Jesus' life from these Dead Sea Scrolls. And so he's on that project, and from what he learned in the Dead Sea Scrolls and then other research of like old Christian art, old Christian books, he thinks there's a connection between hallucinogenic mushrooms and Christian tradition.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the takeaways that you come out with from that book, because it seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was just glancing at it today when I got it. We opened up, I was looking for like some pictures if they had some, just to glance at them, and there was a painting from, what year was it, 1520?
It was like 1290 or something.
A painting from like 1290, and it said depicting Adam and Eve and the tree, the Garden of Eden. And it was Adam and Eve kind of just like roughly drawn as humans, you know, as we would know them. And then the tree between them was a mushroom. It was like a stalk in the middle with like mushroom heads coming off of the sides.
As like the branches.
Yeah. And then there's all this stuff about connections to Christmas, like these certain mushrooms grow under evergreen trees after it rains and snows, and that's why we put gifts under the tree, because they saw the mushrooms as gifts from God. And then they would dry them out like in the branches, and that's why we put freaking ornaments on trees. Like insanity, like all the weird stuff about Christianity where you're like, wait, we do this for Jesus, is like almost all of it is because of mushrooms. And it's just it's super weird. And so I'm not trying to debunk Christianity or anything. Like, if anything, it's getting me back into learning about Christianity again. Right. But I'm so excited to start that book.
Yeah, that'll be. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, because that's a lot of what books are, and a lot of my hobbies.